Alright, guys. I got my coffee, Dr. Barkley. Instead of wine, I don't drink. And I got my Bad Habit cigarette. And what we're going to talk about next 2 episodes is on RFID chips, which I was supposed to show up on CBC or I don't know what it was, a long time ago in 2009 with the Securus executive CEO to talk about RFID chips and the danger in using RFID chips for bank cards. And now it's everywhere, and this is scary. Okay. RFID devices are becoming more and more essential for patient safety in hospitals. The purpose of this study was to determine patient safety, data reliability, and signal loss where wearing on-skin RFID devices during magnetic resonance imaging (MRI) and computed tomography (CT) scanning. Incorrect patient identification is a common clinical problem, and confusions may have severe consequences, especially in surgery. Due to the increasing dispersion of electronic data processing applications in hospitals and the lack of patient identification in such systems, the correct determination of identity becomes more important than ever in hospitals. The radio frequency identification RFID technology with tags, as well as QR code in wristbands and medical equipment, may close this gap and increase patient safety. Let me talk about that a little bit. RFID has been implemented using for what do you call that? They're called tubing systems for hospitals, inpatient pharmacy. So I did a consulting project when I was in MBA in 2009 for St. Michael's Hospital here in Toronto, and I did the whole entire cut down from 41% human error down to 1 to 2% using software to track human errors and eliminate it. And that machine is called Swisslog PillPig. It's not just PillPig, it's Swisslog, SWISSLOG. It's an amazing system, and it is dose by dose, just like what you do in hospital with QR codes as well. But this was done like 10 years ago when it just started, and I would definitely appreciate it that the director as well as the pharmacy manager approved the project. And even though I wasn't able to be on the project after the consultation part, which was approved for $2 million implementation, they can only hire pharmacy students, which I understand, and I'm okay with that. And we had an agreement. It was like this is like one of the best consulting projects that they've ever had. So I'm glad. But it's using RFIDs for the good purposes. RFID tag is microchip attached to an antenna, usually fashioned in such a way that it can be fixed to an object. The tag picks up signals from send signals to a reader. Most RFID tags work in a passive mode without an own source of energy and transmit signals only on demand from a reader. RFID systems work at different frequency bands. The low frequency system typically work at range from 125 to 135 kilohertz. High frequency system work at 13.56 megahertz, and transponders at ultra high frequency work from 868 to 950 megahertz, or even up to 2.4 gigahertz. The first RFID applications for hospital have recently been tested successfully and implemented, for instance, to track blood bottles, drug dispensers, and other small containers or documents. RFID systems for transfusion safety have been successfully developed and tested. I'm very glad. Another implemented system for humans, where the tag is placed under the skin, has been developed and was approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration in 2004. This system is called VeriChip and was recommended, for example, for patient identification. This implantable device has been successfully tested as MR conditions up to 70 in cylindrical system. I don't understand what that means. No adverse effect for patient were found in this small test series of only 2 implanted devices. So that's just the beginning. However, the instruction of the device recommends a continuous monitoring of the patient. Therefore, no MRI should be performed in sedated patients wearing a very cheap device. And people will use that. Now I talked about that. People will use that for that purpose. Ethical issues such as security of confidentiality patient data, increasing surveillance of staff activity, or concerns about the safety of implantable RFID tags are still raising. Thank you.